and welcome to my channel. This is Makeup by Mackenzie, and I am Mackenzie, obviously. Today, we are jumping right into Halloween. This is the look I did for Halloween last year, and I'm so excited to be able to do it for you guys on my channel. It's probably one of the favorite looks that I've ever done for Halloween specifically. And I've been a vampire for the past 3 years. Last year I was this fabulous flapper vampire. The year before that I was a 1950s housewife vampire. And then the year before that I was a modern vampire. And I have increasingly gotten better and better and better at doing vampire makeup. So I decided to start off October by showing you the look I did last year for Halloween and show you how to get it for yourself. So, without any further ado, let's play with some makeup, shall we? I'm pretty nervous about doing this look for you guys, because I haven't done a look like this for my YouTube channel yet, but I'm excited. We're gonna have some fun. So the first thing we are going to do is the eyes, and I like to do the eyes first on this look because they're rather dark, and so there might be a little bit of fallout or I might mess up, and so I want to be able to clean up that fallout later or clean up the look if I need to and do it over again. So because this look is a 1920s flapper look, we're going to use the shape that they used that would kind of help to emphasize their eyes. But they also did a lot of dark eye makeup, and this kind of made the whites of your eyes pop, and it also made their skin look paler. The darker the eyes, the paler their skin looked, and that was kind of the thing then. When we do our eye makeup nowadays, most of the emphasis is placed on the outer part of the eye so that it almost looks smaller as it goes into the middle, and that's the eye shape that we typically like. So we tend to have more eyeshadow in a bigger fashion here, and we'll wing it out or we'll keep it nice and round, and then we'll have less eye makeup in the middle or a highlighting shade in the middle. They kind of did the opposite. They did their eye makeup where it was taller, closer to the nose, and then kind of went down towards the outer corner. And this really made the eyes look big and kind of that kind of doe, Betty Boop sort of look. That is what gave them that look. So I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in the shade Sultry Smoke, and this is a nice matte gray shade. And I'm just taking kind of a densely packed fluffy brush, and I'm starting on the outer corner, but I'm keeping it really close to the crease. And then we're going to start to kind of bring it up in this area. So I'm starting to kind of, so it's almost closer to the eyebrow and then gets further away from the eyebrow the further down you go. Then you start, I'm going to start to bring that onto the lid as well. But you see what we're going for here? You got this kind of shape where there's a gap in between the eye makeup and the brow, except for right here. They don't necessarily have to touch, but you get closer to the brow on the inner corner than you do on the outer corner. Now the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to line my waterline, the upper waterline, with a black pencil eyeliner. I'm going to take that same pencil and run it along the upper lash line to line my eyes. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do on the top of the eyes for now. Now we're going to move on to the face. So the face is interesting because we want to look paler because vampires are typically pale, but I still want my skin to look skin-like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a white foundation mixer that's typically used to make your foundation lighter. And this is the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer, except I'm going to use mostly this and just a drop of my normal foundation. And this way it's going to give my foundation a little bit more of a skin-like finish while making it pale, rather than it just being me painting white all over my face. I think it gives it something a little bit more real, so that my natural skin kind of shows through, but paler because vampires are still people, they're just undead. So I'm just taking a lot of this on my hand. You know, we're gonna use a lot of it. because it's going all over my face. And I'm just using a teeny tiny drop of the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. And I'm just, mixing it together until I get a mix that I like. So it's still looking a little too white for me. Yeah. See? There we go. That's the color we're looking for. So now, this is just going all over the face. And then you just keep going until you've done your whole face. And you want to make sure that you're bringing it all the way up into your hairline, because the last thing you want is for it to look like you're wearing a mask and you can see your actual skin color on the perimeters of your face. And you'll want to go over, if you have really short hair, you'll want to go over your ears, and it's probably a good idea anyway, just to make sure that if your ears show through your hair, then you can't see that your ears are a different color as well. Blending down onto our necks. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do for now. I'll do the rest of my neck and my chest later. I'm going to attempt to do concealer. Now, when you have makeup that is this light, what do you use for concealer? Well, you use this. Just don't mix it with anything. So we're going to use a little bit of this as our concealer. I'm just putting a little bit more coverage in the places where some of my natural skin tone is really tending to shine through, just to make sure that we're covered where we want to be covered. Alright, I think this is going to be good for now. So now we want to make sure that that stays all day. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our face with a white translucent powder. So there's some translucent powders that almost have a nude or a color to them. Those are great for every day, and that's what I use every day. But for something where your skin is like this, you're going to want something a little bit lighter. And so for me, that is the NYX Hd Finishing Powder. And this is in the shade Translucent, but it's a white powder. You want to be careful using something like this for every day, because it can have some pretty bad flashback. And we don't want to have a flashback Mary situation. Sorry, James Charles. But for my purposes, a little bit of flashback isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I'm just taking a powder puff and I'm just going to press that into the skin. We're nice and set. First thing I'm going to do with the rest of the eye look is I'm going to take that black kohl pencil again, and I'm going to line the lower waterline. Oh, and by the way, this is the Rimmel Scandalized Waterproof Kohl Eyeliner. Alrighty, there we go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small smudger brush, and I'm taking a black shade. You can use any black shade, black eyeshadow, and I'm running that along the lower lash line about 2/3 of the way in. And I'm keeping it fairly tight to the lash line. I'm not blending it out too much. This is also not a step that the 1920s flappers would have done, but it does kind of help us to convey the vampire look we're going for. And I'm taking that same brush and I'm also running this along the upper lash line. Now I'm just going to take some more of the lid shade that I use, and I'm just going to kind of make sure that everything is emphasized in the way that I want it to be. So I'm just kind of going back over it. So for contouring, I'm not going to use a brown shade. I'm going to use a gray, and that's just going to help kind of emphasize the paleness of my skin a little bit more. If I used a brown shade, it would give your skin that lifelike sort of feel again. So I'm using gray to kind of emphasize the fact that it is undead. So I'm using the shade Magnet from the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette, and I'm taking my Farrah angled contouring brush. We're trying to make our skin, our face look sunken in, like you've been drained of life. So we're going to do a very tight contour here. So Just going right underneath my cheekbones. Don't worry, we'll blend this out. And I'm gonna start to blend that downward. And what that's going to do is give me kind of that really blending that out. And if you get a little worried that it's not blending out as much as you would like it to, you can kind of go back with your powder, your white powder, and blend that out a little bit. So there we go. That's what we have right now. And you see, can you see the difference here? The way this side looks compared to this side? So we have both cheeks done now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chisel out my jawline as well. Now we're going to do the forehead, or the temples rather. And so the temples have kind of two spots. So you've got kind of a line here, and then you've got your temple here. And what we're going to do is we're going to emphasize both of those. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of that, and we're going to go right in the temple area. And you want to blend it, but you won't blend it as much as you do with a bronzer. You'll just kind of keep it concentrated right in that spot there. And we're going to go right in this little divot here. And we're going to use the brush to kind of emphasize that right there. And we'll blend it out. So if you were doing like a skeleton sort of look, this would be the kind of contouring that you would want to do as well. Now I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting, and the highlighting serves two purposes. It helps to emphasize the high points of your face so that they stand out a little bit more, and two, it looks pretty. Now if you're going for Twilight vampires, the highlighting also serves that purpose in that when you're in the light, you sparkle. So, you know, highlighting, it's just kind of fun, but it does, you know, it does serve some sort of purpose. So I'm dipping into the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette for this white highlighting shade right here. I'm just dipping into that, and I'm gonna go right on the tops of the cheekbones, so that will help to kind of bring them up a little bit. Cupid's bow, because why not? Then I'm going to go right here, next to where I put that gray. I'm going to put it in between the temple and that to kind of add a little bit more of the popping out effect. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that highlighting shade, and that's going right under the brow bone and along that, and that's going to help to kind of cancel out the skin tone that's right there, and it will highlight. Alrighty, so that's what we have so far. I'm going to go curl my hair really quick because I like to do the lips and the teeth, yes, teeth, last. So I'm going to go curl my hair, and then I'll come back and do the rest. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back, and I just did a quick curl for my hair. You could do a finger wave if you wanted to. So I went ahead and I painted my chest and my shoulders with that white so that I can do the contouring for my chest. And since I'm a flapper, you know, I'm having a lot more skin showing than you would if you were doing like, I don't know, Victorian era. So it does require a little bit of effort into your collarbone area. We want that to look just as sunken in as our face. So that's what we're going to work on next. So I'm going to take the same contour shade that we use on our face, and that is going on our chest. And the first thing I'm going to do is the collarbones. My collarbones stand out pretty well, but if you're having a hard time getting your collarbones to stand out, you can kind of hunch forward like this, and then you'll see where your collarbones kind of stand out. And you can just start to kind of contour right in that crease there between your collarbone and your chest. When you relax, it sticks out a little bit more. And you can do a little bit on the top there if you want, just to kind of make them a little bit more Make them stand out just a teeny bit more. So I like to do just a little bit of a dusting right there just to kind of create more of a shadow. So now the next thing I'm going to do is you have all these kind of, I don't know if they're tendons or whatever around your neck, and you also want to make those stick out as well. And so to make those stick out, you kind of gotta, you know, make yourself stick them out. And so the best way to do that is to kind of go and then hold it. And you see how all these little grooves that you have, you want to emphasize those, and I'll make you look even more sunk in. Right here in the center. And then when you relax, you can blend it out a little bit. Right under there. Here. So there we go. Creepy, huh? It definitely looks creepy, and you could draw some rib bones if you wanted to there. That's totally up to you. I think this is creepy enough. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to highlight on my collarbones and on my shoulders. So now I'm going to take that same highlighting shade that we used before, and that's just going to go right along this high point of my collarbone. I think it looks really pretty, and it's also helps to emphasize them a little bit more as well. Although this is certainly an optional step, you really don't have to do it. But I think it adds a little extra glam. And then I'm going to highlight on the tops of my shoulders. Just to add a little bit of, shiny. Alright, and the very last thing I am going to do is the lips. But pro tip, if you have vampire teeth that you are using, I highly recommend that you put those in first before you do your lipstick, because they kind of alter the shape of your lips, and so you want your lipstick to kind of hide that a little bit. Also, I've done it where you did my lipstick first and then put my teeth in, and I got lipstick all over my hands, so that's another reason to do your teeth first. And so I just have teeth from the brand Scarecrow, and these are just DIY. You get the teeth, and then you get the kit to form them to your actual teeth, so that all you have to do is pop them on and pop them off, and they fit to your teeth. It's kind of amazing. I blocked out my lips because in the 1920s they wanted their lips to look smaller. So they wanted their eyes to look bigger and their lips to look smaller. So they underdrew their lips. So nowadays we tend to overdraw our lips. Back then they underdrew their lips. So I'm going to use the Wet n Wild lipstick in the shade Dark Wine. I'm going to start with the Cupid's bow, because the 1920s is when the Cupid's bow really started to become kind of popular, and they emphasized it pretty heavily. So I'm going to start there. And then I'm going to start to draw down like this. So I've cut off the corner of my lip there. Alright, this is our finished vampire flapper look. I think it's super cute, super pretty, but also super creepy. And those are my favorite Halloween looks to do. The ones that are, you're like, ooh, that's really pretty, but also, it's kind of creepy. What do you guys think of this vampire flapper look? Are you gonna do this for Halloween, or maybe something like it? Let me know what your plans are for Halloween, doing anything fun. What are you dressing up as? I'd love to hear down in the comment section below. As always, I will have all of the products that I used in today's video listed in the description box below for you guys to find. I will also have a link to my GoFundMe campaign. 100% of those proceeds goes towards making this channel the best it possibly can be for you guys. So if you like this channel and want to help me make it better, please consider donating to that. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at MUBYMackenzie. And if you like this video, please give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like it in the future. Alright, that's all I have for today. Remember, makeup has no rules. They're more like guidelines. So, you do you, boo-boo. Alright, see you next time, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Cover up, Mackenzie. You want to look dead, but not too dead. This serves two poopuses. Oh, that wouldn't have been good. So I'm taking that same highlighter that we used before, if I can find it. Found it! Ooh, shiny. Got this one hair that I missed. Don't you just hate that? I think it's super cute and super creepy and super